Welcome to Type 2 Diabetes Myths and Secrets Explained. My name is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger. I'm the editor of naturalnews.com and the lab director of the Natural News Forensic Food Laboratory. This audio will explain how I cured my borderline type 2 diabetes using foods, not pharmaceuticals. I'm an award-winning investigative journalist, and as a journalist, I've documented people curing type 2 diabetes in as little as 4 days. You may wonder how that's possible if type 2 diabetes is a disease. Well, that's the first part of the solution, is for you to understand diabetes is not a disease in the same way that obesity is not a disease. Nor is drowning a disease, nor is it a disease when you run up a hill and your heart rate increases and your respiration rate increases because you've undergone exertion. These are not diseases. Why am I comparing these things to diabetes or obesity? Because diabetes is a label, a name given to a medical observation of symptoms, or shall we say physiological expressions of your body. When your blood sugar goes above a certain level for a certain amount of time, that's called diabetes. But is it really a disease? Is it an infection? Are you infected with a parasite, bacteria, a virus? No. Your body is expressing symptoms, and because it's expressing symptoms, those symptoms can be reversed in nearly all cases. For example, if you run up a hill, your heart rate increases, your respiration increases, you're huffing and puffing, and you're tired. But you're not sick, you're not diseased. It's your body trying to compensate for the exertion that it just experienced so that you can catch up with your breath, so that you can catch up with the oxygen levels in your blood. Well, that's what type 2 diabetes often really is. It's your body trying to catch up with pushing blood sugar into your body's cells, even though your cells are resistant to that blood sugar because of insulin resistance, which is also a symptom of an imbalanced physiological expression. So step one in understanding this and getting to a natural cure, and I'll give you specific steps here in this audio, is understanding that diabetes is a name given to an observation of a set of symptoms of physiological expression which are temporary. It's your body's attempt to try to push blood sugar into your cells. So your body has high blood sugar on purpose in that case. Now, because these are symptoms, because these are temporary, they can also be reversed when you change the environment in which your body is trying to function at its optimum levels. This is the secret to unlocking a natural cure for type 2 diabetes, is understanding that it is possible. In fact, it is probable. If you change the inputs into your body, you will get different results. Now, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And it would be insane to think that you could cure diabetes by doing the same things that cause the diabetes in the first place, but then just adding a drug, a prescription drug, a medication, or insulin shots. So let's first talk about what causes type 2 diabetes. This is crucial to understand. It's really just three things. Number one is typically a lack of exercise, a sedentary lifestyle. You show me someone who's diabetic, and I'll show you 99 out of 100 times someone who has a sedentary lifestyle. They're sitting on the couch or in a chair or at a desk. They're watching a lot of television, or they're working in front of a computer many, many hours a day. They're not out walking, typically. They're not on a bicycle. They're not in the swimming pool. They're not even doing yoga exercises or Tai Chi or anything. Most people who are diabetic are sedentary. So that's the first component that leads to this. But not everybody is sedentary, which leads me to the second point. The second thing that causes type 2 diabetes is the ongoing chronic consumption of heavily processed foods, which lack nutritional minerals but are very high in refined processed sugars and starches. The number one culprit in this is soda, which contains liquid sugar known as high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is sometimes called liquid Satan by some people who have a good imagination, I suppose, but they call it Satan because it's evil to your body. High fructose corn syrup should never be consumed ever in your entire lifetime. It should be completely eliminated from this day forward if you want to reverse type 2 diabetes, which again is a label given to a collection of symptoms of observations of physiological expression. So if you stop drinking soda, you're going to change the inputs into your body, and you're going to get different results. But you also need to stop eating sugary foods, especially sugary fried foods, which includes donuts, by the way. So any fried pastries, donuts being the number one source, are going to promote diabetes, but also refined sugars such as cakes and pies and Twinkies and all those candy bars, all those things have to be eliminated from your diet if you want to reverse type 2 diabetes. But I can hear some people saying, well, wait a minute, I can't live without that stuff because I'm craving it all the time. Well, let's address that issue, because what if I gave you a way to eliminate those cravings within 30 days? For most people, cravings can be eliminated in less than a month by changing what you eat and supplementing your diet with what I'm about to tell you. But to answer that question, I first need to explain, what are cravings? Cravings are your body's way of telling you to eat something that you need. A craving is sort of an inner consciousness, an inner messenger that has a message trickling up into your conscious mind to say, go out and get this thing that you need as a food or as a source of nourishment. Most cravings are cravings for minerals or salt, believe it or not, but in our modern society, we have been trained to misinterpret those cravings so that we think we're craving something else. For example, when we're missing magnesium, we think we're craving chocolate. So we eat chocolate trying to get more magnesium into our bodies to satisfy the magnesium craving element that's working inside our own minds. It's a very interesting mechanism, in fact. When the body has sensors in it. You know how your car has sensors for the gas gauge or the oil level? If your gas tank gets low, you get a light that comes on. Well, your body has much the same thing. When your magnesium level gets low, kind of a light comes on, a signal comes on, tells you to eat something with magnesium in it, and that's why you crave chocolate. Now, if you crave salty snack chips, potato chips, or nacho chips, or corn chips, or whatever, that is usually a craving for full spectrum salt, not the cheap processed iodized salt that you get at the grocery store, but a full spectrum salt that has more minerals in it. Because it turns out that the third cause of diabetes is this mineral deficiency. Your body needs trace minerals in order to function at a biochemical level. Minerals are sort of catalysts for metabolic action at the cellular level. Without these minerals, many metabolic functions cannot take place at all. So your body craves these minerals, but it's not getting them from processed foods. You're not going to get minerals like selenium or chromium from foods such as processed snack chips and donuts and breakfast cereals and pizza. You're only going to get those minerals if you go out of your way to supplement your body with trace minerals or a full spectrum salt that naturally contains some of those trace minerals. You can also eat more organic foods, which tend to have more minerals in them naturally, because organic foods tend to be grown in more mineral-rich soils than conventional foods that are sprayed with pesticides. But I think the best way to get trace minerals into your body is to take some high-quality mineral supplements. And if you do that on a regular basis, within 30 days or less, you're going to find that your cravings begin to go down or fade away or disappear completely. And if you switch over to a full spectrum salt, such as a Himalayan salt or a Celtic sea salt, something that's really harvested from the ocean or mined from a mountain that's made from ancient oceans. You're going to get more full spectrum minerals into your body. Your cravings are going to go away. So if you do that, combined with the other information I already shared here, you're already addressing now the 3 primary causes of diabetes. Let's go over them one more time. Cause number 1, a sedentary lifestyle. That's not going to work if you want to be free of diabetes. You are going to have to find a way to get up and move and walk and move your arms and move your legs, get your heart beating on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be crazy vigorous exercise. It doesn't have to be weightlifting down at the gym. It can be something that you do in your living room. Watching a Tai Chi or a yoga DVD. It can be something simple. It can be walking for 45 minutes a day, super simple, or swimming in a swimming pool for 30 minutes a day. The second thing is to avoid all refined sugars, especially liquid sugars that you get in diet soda, or not diet sodas, but regular sodas. But I also wanted to encourage you to avoid the aspartame in diet sodas, because aspartame is not a healthy chemical to put into your body either. And a lot of diabetics drink a lot of aspartame and they don't get any better. It doesn't help them. Aspartame may in fact make your diabetes worse. And the third thing is to supplement your diet with natural mineral sources, which you can get from organic foods, whole foods, unprocessed foods. You can get it from juicing, or you can get it from trace mineral supplements, both liquid supplements and pill format supplements, although I tend to think that for trace minerals, liquid supplements tend to be better. But I got to add this. I think that minerals should come from food sources wherever possible. I don't believe in eating ground up oyster shells, which is a source of calcium carbonate that's in cheap, low-cost calcium pills. And I'm not talking about going out and getting calcium. Most people have too much calcium in their diets, and they get calcification of their arteries and in their kidneys, and they get kidney stones. So what most people need are things like magnesium to balance out the calcium. They've got too much calcium, not enough magnesium. Most people need more zinc. Most people need more selenium, which also helps enhance brain function and has powerful anti-cancer properties at the same time. Most people need trace amounts of chromium, which helps balance blood sugar. This is a crucial factor for diabetics and pre-diabetics to understand. If you're not getting these minerals, you're never going to be able to control your blood sugar. In fact, if you look at the profile of a typical patient who is diabetic, here's the profile. Here's a description of who they typically are. And this may be you. If you're listening to this and you're going, wow, I never knew that. This may be you. And by the way, this used to be me before I learned this and got healthy myself. You have a sedentary lifestyle, right? Not exercising, eating a lot of processed foods, drinking a lot of sodas, liquid sugars, refined sugars, processed foods of all kinds, and not getting good mineral supplementation, not eating organic foods, not juicing, not taking trace mineral supplements or food-based mineral vitamins, which are also available from some manufacturers. Those are the factors that cause the symptoms which are named diabetes. Now notice in this equation here, you didn't have to be infected with a virus. You didn't have to be infected with a parasite. You don't really have a disease in the classic definition of a disease. You don't have gangrene. You've just got your metabolism out of balance, but it can be corrected. And it can be corrected through these 3 things that I just mentioned: regular exercise, avoidance of dietary sugars, and an intake of dietary trace minerals such as zinc, selenium, chromium, and magnesium. But there's one more thing I want to share with you that's also a huge secret in reversing type 2 diabetes. It's called the sunshine vitamin, known as vitamin D. Vitamin D is absolutely crucial. It's the one overarching nutrient that is absolutely necessary to be a healthy human being. Now, human beings don't automatically make their own vitamin D unless they're exposed to sunlight. Your skin actually generates vitamin D, but it doesn't necessarily go into your bloodstream unless you soak it in from your skin over time. So people who, let's say, work in an office and don't get much sunshine, or people who shower every day will tend to wash the vitamin D off their skin even if they did get some sunshine. So because we live in an indoor environment now, most of us work indoors, most of us live indoors, many people hardly get any sunshine on their skin at all. So we're not generating much vitamin D. This is why vitamin D deficiency is an epidemic across North America, Europe, really much of the world. And it's even worse in people who have darker skin pigmentation, because the dark skin blocks ultraviolet radiation. It's actually a built-in sunscreen mechanism. And that's why in the history of the world, people with darker skin came from regions of the planet that were closer to the equator, because the sunlight is so intense there. Think about what you know about world history and the migration patterns of different populations, different ethnic regions. Where did they move from? Where did they come from? Those with darker skin came from countries and regions closer to the equator, and those with lighter skin came from regions that are usually farther north, away from the equator, where sunlight was very diminished. So the typical European fair-skinned person, Caucasian, is actually a person whose skin is more white because they needed to absorb more sunlight to avoid being vitamin D deficient as they were living at more northern latitudes. Isn't that a fascinating piece of human history that you've never been taught by any doctor, by any government agency, or even by your school or university? They don't teach you these things. Well, it turns out that if you're vitamin D deficient, your risk of diabetes skyrockets. If you're vitamin D deficient, your body will grow cancer tumors at a frighteningly rapid pace. If you're vitamin D deficient, your kidneys don't work very well, so you're not eliminating toxins from your blood in the way that you're supposed to. If you're vitamin D deficient, you can have skin disorders such as psoriasis. If you're vitamin D deficient, you can have metabolic disorders, blood sugar disorders, and again, type 2 diabetes. You will also tend to have bone disorders such as osteoporosis. So now think about it. Who do you know that's vitamin D deficient? The answer is practically everybody you know is vitamin D deficient. Probably around 90% of Americans are vitamin D deficient, and that number may be 95% of Canadians, because again, they're living in the more northern latitude. If you aren't taking vitamin D supplements, you are almost certainly deficient, unless you're spending hours a day in the sun on a regular basis. And even then, you can still get deficient in the winter, which in the northern hemisphere is months of January, February, and so on. But in the southern hemisphere, it's months like July and August. Whenever the winter is for your region, that's when you can be deficient. And that's why most cancer tumors actually grow most aggressively in the winter months based on the region in which you live. It's also why breast cancer rates are lower in the southern states of the United States versus the northern states of the United States, because the southern states get more sunshine. And people are warmer, so they don't wear long sleeve shirts all year round. They're in more bathing suits or shorts, short sleeve shirts, short pants. They get more sun exposure on their skin. Breast cancer rates are lower in Florida than Minnesota, and this is why. So this is the answer to not just diabetes. In fact, what I've shared with you in this segment will also help you prevent, and in some cases even reverse, cancers and heart disease and Alzheimer's and dementia and kidney disorders and skin disorders and depression. Many other diseases are really names given to imbalances in the body, in the chemistry of it, the metabolism of it, that's caused by these nutritional imbalances, which are, again, too many sugary foods, not enough trace minerals, lack of vitamin D, plus a sedentary lifestyle. And what I just described there, by the way, is the average American, sitting in front of a television, pushing the remote control, eating donuts and pizza, not taking vitamin D supplements, not getting exercise, not getting good minerals, not eating organic foods. No wonder so many Americans have cancer and diabetes and heart disease. And they're not being told the truth by the FDA or the NIH or the American Cancer Society or their own government. Their own doctor isn't even telling them this. And this is especially true, by the way, among the Latino population. The Latino populations tend to be very high in diabetes rates because they're drinking sodas like crazy, and no one's telling them of the relationship between the foods they eat and the health outcomes that they will experience in their bodies. I've seen this firsthand, and I've really helped explain this to many in the Latino community, that if they don't want to be diabetic, they have to not drink the same things that their buddies are drinking, which is a 64-ounce big gulp soda every few hours. That's not the way to stay healthy. And the African American community isn't being told the truth about vitamin D deficiency. Scientists know that breast cancer and prostate cancers are more aggressive in African American women and men, but they won't tell them why. The reason is because dark skin blocks ultraviolet radiation, blocking vitamin D production in the human body. And when you're vitamin D deficient, your body is growing tumors more aggressively. This is why black men and women have more aggressive cancers than white men and women. And yet the cancer industry engages in an ongoing conspiracy of silence to make sure that these people are never told this simple but powerful truth. So that's the answer to diabetes. That's the answer, in part, to cancer, to heart disease, to preventing all kinds of diseases that are now ravaging modern society. It's not that difficult. It's not complex. It isn't rocket science. All it takes is the courage and the willpower to start making lasting changes in your own life. Get up off the couch. Take a walk every single day. Change your diet. Stop buying the junk. Start eating whole, unprocessed foods. Get more fresh fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds into your diet. Do more juicing. Do more smoothies. I love to make a cacao, avocado, almond milk smoothies, or I use coconut water instead of almond milk sometimes. I love to make those every single day. I drink powdered superfoods with avocado and cacao every morning for breakfast with a nice whey protein or a hemp protein. These are simple solutions that you can use to radically transform your health in the same way that I did. Now, if you'd like to learn more about solutions for your health, follow me at naturalnews.com. My name's Mike Adams. I'm known as the Health Ranger. And I transform my health using many of the same secrets that I've just shared with you. And I've now shared these secrets with millions of other people. We have over 7 million monthly readers at naturalnews.com, and it's growing every single day. We've got over 1 million Facebook followers, and that's growing every single day. Why is it growing? Because people are waking up to these simple but powerful truths for transforming their health. And you notice in this entire segment, I didn't try to sell you a drug. I didn't try to sell you a diet pill or a supplement or an exercise machine. All I'm doing is empowering you with the kind of information that you can use to transform your life and your health starting right now. Practical, hands-on information to change your life for the better. That's what I do as the Health Ranger, as the editor of naturalnews.com. If you'd like to learn more from me, including secrets, recipes, health secrets, exercise, pet health, how to have non-toxic personal care products, which foods are contaminated with heavy metals, all kinds of other valuable information, all available for free, just go to naturalnews.com. Click on any article that you see on the home page there, and then sign up to the email newsletter you'll find at the bottom of the article. It's a free email newsletter. We send an email each night at about midnight with the headlines for the next day. And every day you'll learn a wealth of information about taking back your power and empowering yourself with the knowledge that you need to transform your health and probably not need pharmaceuticals, toxic drugs, dangerous medical interventions, huge hospital bills, pharmacy bills, doctor bills, health insurance bills, you name it. This is going to not just save your life, it's going to save you a fortune in medical costs at the same time. In fact, If anything I told you in this segment sounds expensive, just remember this: it's cheap compared to being sick. Anything is cheaper than being in a hospital bed with today's medical costs skyrocketing. So invest in holistic nutrition, invest in organic foods, invest in that new pair of sneakers if it helps you get out and go walking. Invest in the trace mineral supplements, invest in the vitamin D. You are investing in yourself. You're investing in your own empowerment and your own health to last a lifetime. Thanks for listening. This is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, for naturalnews.com.